and we can look forward to more into this one. I'm thinking about if we introduce the game or if we go straight up for the social clash. Let's go for the NLC social clash.
Another kind.
Oh, you don't know what that is?
No.
I'm going to tell you and everybody back at home. So throughout every single show day, we look into the social media of the teams and the players, and someone makes a vote about who popped off the most. And to start it off, we're going to go with third place for today. It is for Bifrost with the diamond coming in hot. The man, the myth, the legend, the diamonds coming in and removing Astralis from the race.
Well, that's great. I love that so much. That's a bloody good tweet. That's all I'll say about it.
I really like this part,
to the meme format, to the specific picture that they used for Diamond Procs. I don't know why it's
The funniest thing for me here is that Diamond is one of the few players that was around long enough for old Yorick jungle to be a thing to dig that grave.
Oh my God.
One of the very few players that ever did that.
Yeah. I love it. So in the third place, we have Bifrost kicking hard. And then on second place, it is... I don't like this one. I'm on this picture, and I don't like it, by the way. Single-letter with Tatsui. I can't be bothered to answer, man. NLC, lol. So let's take a peek into the video. Okay, so big question.
Wait, TSM came out and said, we're stomping scrims, can't wait, and they go like 0-20. Sorry.
Tell me, Tatsui, what is the next plan for Singularity? I want to know what is on your mind to make sure that Singularity, by the end of the split, is not last place. Seems good. So, Tattoo, man. Tattoo. Why? You did me so dirty, man. You did me so dirty.
Oh my God. I didn't see that line.
That was the best slide.
Neither of us were on show.
Yeah, I managed to just randomly miss that, I guess. That was...
Oh, that's great. I love that. That's so much.
Best reply
What's
so
number
far,
one?
I would have to say. Oh, you want to see number one?
What was that American sports personality? I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's our version now. Just
First place for today, it's going to be for Vanir with Nightmare. I need a Vanir Longship content. And then you go, wait no more with Carlos the Builder. You were part of this.
Like, I mean, their fan on the street video was actually just a fan on a longship. They were Vikings. They were heading over to our territories. They were coming into maraud and pillage and everything. And now they have themselves branded longships. You can thank me later. And I expect to be now on that leadership board because I was part of that.
Oh, you were part of it, so you won some points as well.
It's intellectual property, you know. It's very important to me.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to talk about points, might as well look into the standings as they are right now to show Nightmare is not even on the scoreboard. Riddle in first place so far with 10 points, followed by Team Singularity. And then we have Vanir as well tied up for second spot. And following it, we have Bifrost, JDXL with 1 point. And remaining teams, I mean, they got to step up.
Well, the competition's tough. There will be some really good posts. I've been enjoying this.
I mean, these new parts of the show have been... the fan on the street,
I bet
clash.
I bet that everyone who signed up as a social media manager, like in the last year or two for NLC, did not realize they were going to be put into effectively a battle royale at this point. You know, good luck. May the odds be in your favor, and start doing your work.
Okay, I mean, you installed, you have TikTok now as well. You're providing with videos. You're doing content. I mean, it's lovely, I would have to say. I mean, I'm not going there, but it's lovely. I'm going to the next game, though, where we have Riddle versus JDXL. Riddle in full force versus JDXL. Let's talk about Riddle first. We need to look into the team itself. Run me by the team.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, looking at this game, I'm looking at Stefan in particular. I think he had a very, very impressive week one. I would even go as far as saying, pretty confidently, actually, no. I think he was individually the best performing jungler in week one. I don't think there's...
You know what? I agree.
I don't think there was anyone else that was a stronger individual performer than Stefan in week one.
I have one.
Go ahead.
This is going to be controversial. Dan.
That's the only other person he's playing him in this game. So
this is the best.
This is what I'm saying. So for me, this is why I'm looking at Stefan, because I think Dan, historically, for as long as he's been in the NLC, he's always spoken about as either the best jungler or he's, you know, top 2.
Never out of that conversation.
Never ever out of that conversation. So I think to have Stefan come in, right? He spent the split on X7 as I think it was a positional coach, or either way in a coaching position under Haru. Learned a whole bunch there. Obviously, I think before that anyway, was a pretty decent jungler from my own knowledge. But he's come in to week 1 looking really strong, and I think for me that's the matchup to watch in this game.
And if we may, can we show all the players that are going to be playing today for Riddle? Because
Yes,
Riddle
very
made a huge announcement online to talk about the players, and now we get to see them all today. I believe today we
Yes.
finally get to see all those 5 players.
That's the information that we've been given, because of course,
Hope so.
yeah, their mid laner Vladi was on a 2-game suspension, has now served that, now back into that roster. We
Bot
had a
lane.
chat with Tom Kick, who was saying, you know, actually
There you go.
it's quite difficult in
at
terms
this.
of planning out what they were going to do. Obviously, Kevo's coming back in too, spent last split on Vanna. They finally managed to get them ready and available to play too.
Jaxplank on top this time.
Actually playing in their main role. So suddenly,
role.
even though they didn't have a bad week 1 by any means, actually, I think that they individually had some great performance of their own. Talk about Stefan. I think that Jaxplank had some great moments of their own. This is now a team which you started looking at saying, well, we've seen you in this diminished form. Now, it might take a game or 2 to get back, but suddenly, if they're playing that well with their subs, it just adds in that question to see how high the ceiling can be.
The meme could be, this is not even my final form for Riddle. And I believe they now achieved
Next
it.
week, it's going to be Jimada jungling.
What's your take?
I hope I'm not jungling for Riddle next week, otherwise it'll be a problem. But yeah, no. I think, you know, seeing now the full strength of Riddle, it's a bit of a deep end test, we'll say, immediately being thrown against JDXL. But I say to hell of it, no better time to try and test it, right? If you win, fantastic, right? You have that head-to-head. If you lose, there's probably going to be plenty to learn from this matchup. And realistically, you can only probably look up from today.
There's no better time than the present. You just said that. And there's no better time than the present to look into Champion Select as we head on to the match between Riddle versus JDXL. JDXL could be undefeated today with 3 victories, or Riddle could take it home and make things more spicy. They could tie up with JDXL with 2-1. I love seeing Riddle at full force today. This is exactly what I was expecting. I was doing predictions back at home. I was like, oh, I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, so for me, setting expectations, I do think that JDXL come in very much as the favorite, overdog, whatever. I think that Riddle come in with a bit more of underdog status, particularly when we haven't seen this roster before. Even though I think they did have particularly the game against Bifrost, I looked at that and thought, hey, you know what? They're skirmishing well early. They're playing well around stuff like the Vladimir pick was very interesting to me as well. I feel like that pick could actually be lasting into this new matter as well. I think that could be very strong. Question is, of course, new patch, you keeping on with that same trend again? We're going to ask that question all day, pretty much, because it's going to be a question asked to each of these coaches, asked to each of these players. Every player and coach I've talked to has had different takes on this meta, it feels like. Some things overlap. We talked about the Wukong, talked about the Gwen, a couple of real big power picks, but it does feel like there's so many different inroads into patch 12.10 and beyond.
I even saw some leaks online by JDXL. They leaked it, so I'm not saying anything that... Okay, even
That's not a
Skarner's would
leak,
be...
then. That's not...
It's kind of a... I won't dive into that.
That's a public service announcement.
Even Skarner was being played in scrims, so there's a big window for you.
Actually tweeted out very similar. Obviously, now he's playing over the LFL. He was an XLEC player as well, just in the last split. So now, that Skarner was one thing. Now, something that we've seen banned in each of our 2 other games, though, has been that Lilia. Percent HP damage, lots of ability to chase down with move speed. We know that chase down is very, very... Hell, we saw a Ghost last game on AD carries. Move speed and ability to take these elongated fights, very, very strong. Lilia brings all of these things and is also a multi-role flex.
Yeah, and one of the things I highlighted in the pre-show today was Stefan's ability to have very strong and consistent pathing. What does Lilia need to thrive in most of her matchups? Very efficient and strong pathing, pending the games. We've got a Rek'Sai being locked in here for Dan, which to me just says, okay, Lilia can do one of 2 things. Try and be efficient, and I'll go and gank all of her lanes. Or if I've got the lane priority, I'm going to go and attack her myself.
Okay, trouble brownie points been achieved. That's good. Cool.
Yep.
Got that. Of course, no one apparently on this patch, everyone's forgotten about Ari again, so I'm going to have to go into the dog days again once again. Don't worry, I waited 5 years for it to become meta.
I'll come back.
But this is now a really different sort of draft, though, because suddenly we have incredible level 2, level 3 gank potential. Well, okay, Rek'Sai very much level 3 gank and less of a level 2, but level 2 all in, level 3 gank pressure from Dan. And if we talk about Dan, he has been very cerebral, has been about that pathing, that ingenuitive way to think about the game. I'm really excited to see what even with these first 2 picks.
Yeah, I think seeing the Kog'Maw Lulu as a response very interesting. It does dip Riddle quite heavily into the magic damage profile, so we'll need to hopefully see them round out their draft.
And who's going to be tanking that out of this picks?
Well, potentially Rel, but I mean, Rel not always known as the tankiest champion in the world.
No.
More, you know, there to sort of facilitate engages, sort of be that out of fog of war engage, and try and set up other members of our team to try and blow up the rest of the enemies. So let's see what kind of follow-up they can draft in R4, R5 as well. I think right now, Riddle, I think what's really good, even though they do have this high magic damage profile, is that Lilia pairs really well with a lot of solo lane or attack damage solo laners anyway. So it shouldn't end up being too much.
One of those be Jax and one of them be Gangplank.
Yes, one of them would end up being Gangplank, one of them could end up being Jax. We'll have to see. I think even spicy things, if you really want to go down the route of like sort of mechanically checking Eminez or something like a Yone or Yasuo, Lucian's banned out in this instance, Jace as well. All of these laners that can sort of be backed by Lilia showing up after a full clear or before she starts her full clear, things like that is where Lilia really thrives.
But one thing that's really surprising to me here is actually that JDXL opt into the Ornn ban, because I actually think the Ornn would have been pretty good for them. They have their potential for backline access there. Something like a Kog'Maw, we saw this with the Azir that was locked in a little bit before. It's just that when you have something like the ability to sweep forward and bring them back, or have that backline access, Kog'Maw is not this all-empowering threat, because if he has targets on top of it, it's just kind of awkward for him. However, another kind of backline access is Gangplank, Colin. That's been locked in.
And I kind of find that funny because like they ban away the Jax, they lock in the Gangplank, they've cracked the code. They don't have to ban away both. But if there's anybody who's gonna know about lane counters to Gangplank, it's probably gonna be Jaxplank, and he's gonna, I'm assume this will go up to the top side. The Aurelia. Gangplank has a miserable time. If the lane state ever ends up in a situation where it's frozen or he has to overextend, Aurelia loves those long lanes to chase down laners. And Gangplank, yes, he can bully out some melees in the early stages, but again, Jaxplank probably going to recognize the strengths of his own champion, not play into those strengths, and allow himself to get to a point where he's going to be very strong. And it seems like Ari is about to be locked in. There you go. Yone. I mean, this is where I was saying.
Don't talk about the hovers as well, but you're absolutely right. It's double fighter, go forward, AD bruiser champions that can really utilize Lilia with that engage, have the ability to set up for your own CC and your own huge burst. I'm liking what Riddle have done. I think because they did div heavily into that magic damage, brings them into a pretty safe way to play around multiple carries if they get ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, a potential Vex response would honestly make a whole bunch of sense. You've got 2 champions with a whole bunch of mobility. What can you try and do to shut them down? The Vex can work. The Vex can hold down the Yone in lane, so it can't necessarily get too much freedom. But again, if we're talking about the skirmishing power, once you hit level 6, I think there's going to be too many problems. So early stages, though, pretty good.
The thing about Vex is that, I mean, Vex has arguably been hit the hardest out of any champion on this patch because you are incredibly snowbally about getting that first kill. The amount of times in spring that we saw even the best teams in the world mess up playing around a Vex. We only saw a couple of players worldwide that really utilized that pick very well. Even in our own league in the NLC, it was only basically Eminem playing around strong mid-jungles with that Vex with the Hacker and double dive combo and seriously indexing towards that, which would work out very well. With everyone being very much more tanky now, getting those resets is even harder. Doing that in the early game, getting lane pressure early, is also much harder. That Vex, for me, it's very risky. I don't dislike it in the composition, but that particular champion struggles on the current patch from my understanding.
It's M&S though, and we need to see how he's going to pilot this one. So last words before we jump into the Rift. Who's going to take it?
I mean, I like on the spiciness of the draft that Riddle have, but I feel like by, you know, pure standards right now, I think JDXL have a slightly better chance. If they can get the solo lanes running, Riddle, and then rely on the Kog'Maw later on, I think they will be okay.
And this is why I think that JDXL are going to win. I think it's because Dan has the Rek'Sai and has the ability to do that. I think this Rek'Sai is going to be absolutely monstrous in this draft.
And he's so unpredictable as a jungler. Rek'Sai is going to power that even further beyond. So I'm going to toss it to further beyond to Hiprain in trouble.
Ooh, got it! There we go, caught the toss. Hello everybody and welcome to the death.
They did you dirty, they didn't zoom in on the TV.
No! I'm angry. I'm very upset. There's a lot to break down here. There is a lot to break down other than my terrible catch, apparently. This draft is interesting because there's so many elements to it I want to talk about, and I don't really know where to start with. So I'm going to start with the bot lane, purely because we saw Jamada talk about it actually at the beginning of game one, was saying when you have this Kog'Maw and you have this Lulu, there is that kill pressure when you pick something like a Tristana who can jump into the face of it. You got the Rel as well. Rel Q turning off the shields from the Lulu means this Kog'Maw is easier to kill as well. I'm loving this bot lane.
Yeah, there's two ways you can approach a Lulu Kog'Maw lane. You either try to match the scaling with something maybe like an Aphelios or a Jinx together with an Enchanter, or you're gonna try to shut it down very, very early on. And I think this is where JDXL are going for. I just want to remind everyone that this JDXL bot lane is the old dusty bot lane. FGG. I was messing up. Whenever I was seeing a Rel, I was calling it FGG. It wasn't a Rel anymore. It was the FGG. And he is on his champion, on that Rel that he made so many plays on that dusty roster that made it so far into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Still paired up with the same ADC on a very killer, aggressive carry, which is the Tristana. So this is going to be Kevo and Nash trying to survive anything that happens to the bot side so they can scale into late game.
Talking about things that are new, this is an entirely new Riddle. Yes, they had
the Riddle.
This is the Riddle.
Finally.
These guys are new. They're all new to this roster. And Riddle, yeah, they had a good deep run into playoffs last split, but this is a very, very different team. And the question is are they going to be able to match and maybe even beat out what the previous iteration of the roster was able to do?
The only truly big question mark, I think, from the sort of Riddle with the new people that are bringing in is Vladi. We haven't necessarily seen him in the NLC before. He was playing in the Greek League, in the GLL. Now he's paired up with another Greek player, Jaxplank, in the two solo lanes. And if we look towards the bot side of the map, Kevo is back on the NOC. We have seen Kevo over and over again as one of the bigger hyper carries when he does join any team in the NOC, and he has been just that. Let's see now how he's going to be able to do in this Riddle lineup when he is put on a hyper carry that he needs to carry later on into the series. Now, I'm jumping on the other side because JDXL have seemed to be on fire, especially in week one. And right now, we're seeing MNS on another unique pick. He did not pick Vex at all last split. It was one of these champions that he did not put his hands on, but right here, it just makes sense. GP wants to disrupt the backline. Who's in the backline? The Kog'Maw and the Lulu. Imagine Dan's Rek'Sai jumping in the backline together with MNS's Vex. But you can also have the Rel jumping in, the Tristana jumping in. There's so much engage and disengage.
Yeah.
Whatever way you choose to use that Vex, it just works.
My attention also is going to be a little bit towards these jungle pools and the junglers, not jungle pools, but the junglers themselves. Obviously, Dan, a massive instrument for saving XL in some of their games last week, but also Stefan.
Especially that day too.
Yeah, especially that day too, but Stefan as well on Lilia, probably one of the strongest junglers on the patch right now, a very, very oppressive jungler.
Saw it banned earlier as well.
And we did, yeah, absolutely. And Stefan has just been very consistently good. Even in the losses, consistently good. I'm happy to see Stefan again because he kind of goes back to when I first started casting, back in the first EU Masters, Click Tech. Early years of my career getting to see this person play, and I'm so happy to see them actually in my home region now. So I'm super excited to see this. This can be a very, very fun matchup. Anyway, what are you guys doing? Let's find out, shall we? I'm going to press the button. I pressed it right this time. Hold on, that's Archeron.
Arsharam, what are you doing there?
No, that's their wallpaper.
Procrastinating.
So beautiful.
Do your homework.
No, watch NLC.
Do your homework first. And then you can watch. We have beautiful VODs. You can watch the NLC.
What is that homework? Let's be real, that is crazy. I didn't do my homework, to be fair. Anyway, bye-bye. Nice to see you.
Thank you also so much, guys, for sending us pictures with how you watch the NLC at home. Make sure to use hashtag NLC at home, and maybe you'll get featured in our broadcast as well. Now, straight back onto the game. Both of these junglers have actually fully cleared. Now, the thing right here is that Rek'Sai and the way she works on the red side of the map is that if Kevo, if Nash overextend, she has a very easy tunnel towards the bot side of the map to be able to pull in a gank together with FGG's Rel setting it up. Now, Dan actually has spotted Stefan as well, so they know exactly where this Lilia will be. And so far, so good. Dan is about one camp ahead, pretty much same XP.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, bot lane, this was their kill pressure lane, and there's definitely pressure there. You can see Kevo and Nash a little hesitant to overstep. They also know with the fact it's a Tristana and obviously that E, the lane will naturally shove in towards them, so they don't need to go too aggressive here.
Keep brain. level 3 to level 4 is usually when FTG and Venzer will overextend while their wave is pushing and die to enemy jungle. Now, right now, obviously, it's not going to be the case because Stefan's going to be moving away. So far, so good. They've evaded dying level 3.
Yes, but let's keep our eyes on that for now and see, you know, if potentially they do find themselves jumped onto. But we do need to see this Cogmore denied because we saw it in game number 1, Singularity versus
Stefan.
Astralis. We saw this Cogmore basically being denied from the game. At the moment, Kevo, down in farm, but the wave's pushing into them. They're quite content. They want to hit those 2 free items on the Cogmore to look to take over the game with a Lulu in their pocket. As Vladdy actually looking for a little bit of a light trade here. It's just going to ping back to safety, and Dan is waiting around in the wings. Can spot them out there with that tremor sense, and now going to get spotted out on the ward. Dan's able to clear it away and head away to safety.
And I think Dan was spotted right there by the pink wall that Stefan placed on his topside jungle, and he's been spotted again. So even though, yes, if you look on the topside map, on all the quadrants, you see all of these beautiful tunnels leading literally from the bot side of the map, linking all the way to golems from the top side. So Rek'Sai is a very fast-moving champion if you chain your tunnels together, and Dan has done just that. As you can see, he's much faster at his camps, he's much faster at clearing, and right now he's sitting about 2 camps above Stefan. He's gonna be looking for that level 6 maybe soon.
That was such a nice dodge there. They have that cannon barrage to work with. Jaxplank doesn't actually have the ultimate. He's trying to just get off the minions as much as possible. Cries flashes away. Dan's coming in. Jaxplank needs to avoid this barrel, and he should be able to do so. First blood to Jaxplank.
Yeah, and there was nothing the Rek'Sai could do right there to help Cries. Cries overextends in that lane. I did not see how the wave was looking at this point, but Cries was way overextended. Oh, he was actually trying to shove in his wave, but Dan was nowhere near. He was still finishing his golem, so he has no business overextending right there. Stefan is around, so yes, even though the cannon barrage goes down, he tries to push in that wave. At the end of the day, he loses his flash. He has no teleport. He loses his life, I think, to the Aurelia as well, giving the first blood away. And I think also his wave is going to be, of course, manipulated by Jaxplank, who's first in lane.
And Jaxplank now has Flash and Vanguard's Edge. Cries burnt the Flash, so Cries now has to be a lot more scared. This is that big lane counter we were talking about, or the desk we're talking about anyway, for this top lane. So if anybody knows how to handle a Gangplank, it's probably going to be Jaxplank. And doing a pretty good job of that right now. As attention actually a little bit towards the mid lane here. Vladdy does have that fate sealed and is maybe looking to line it up. Misses out on the Q, and Mnet's actually able to get a good trade. Now FTG and Dan are potentially in the area. They know where Vladdy is thanks to that tremor sense from Dan. They're actually looking to maybe chase a little bit more. Mnet has the ultimate available, and Vladdy gonna have to play this very, very clean if they want to pull it off.
If there are hits from Mnet, they have a pretty clean chain. Oh, very beautifully done by Stefan. The second you do not see FTG in lane, you know he's going to be roaming together with the jungler. Stefan.
Flashing in, he's going to look to try and E away. Nash is coming in with the shield. They got the lilting lullaby to keep him alive. The healing is there, and they are A-okay. Vladdy gets jumped underneath the tower. The face sealed is going to get flashed away by Mnet.
There's no mana.
Vladdy is ignited. He's trying to survive. He won't tick down. 53 HP to Vladdy.
He had no mana for that final spell. I don't think he queued actually right there, so Mnet is just a little bit short, and that actually comes back to bite Eminence, because now he's going to have to walk into a long lane where he's playing Vex and immobile carry, doesn't have his flash available. Yone has everything to his disposal. TP is back to lane as well, so he's going to be able to shove it quickly. So right now, Eminence is going to be in a very tricky situation where if you overextend and Stefan finds you, Yone combo as well together with the Lilia, it's going to be a very dead Vex.
Interesting build paths coming in here as well. You can see Kevo actually building towards the Rage Blade first. We saw earlier on in the day, it was the Blade the Ruined King into Rage Blade. So slightly changing things up here is Vladdy charging up that, not Steel Tempest, that's his brother's ability, but not actually going to go for it either way.
I think it's much more important to get the Rage Blade first here, because there are not many squishy targets for you on the side of JDXL, right? Yes, they do want to dive you, which means you're squishy either way, but
here we go.
Cries...
Flash forward, they catch him out. They got the Vanguard's Edge for the slow as well. Stefan's making his way forward, and Cries, you are down. Jaxplank 2-0 on the Aurelia.
Cries again, look at where his wave is. He has no other choice but to try and crush that. No one was there. JDXL's bot and jungle were on the way, and this so far looks like a very strong start to Riddle's new lineup. This is the Riddle we're gonna be seeing for the rest of the split. This is the actual lineup they signed up to play with, and it's coming into fruition. Jaxplank onto his Aurelia looking very strong. Stefan playing towards the top side of the map. If you get this Aurelia really fed, ahead. You've got so many squishy members on the side of JDXL, they're just going to evaporate later on.
Absolutely. This is the first time we've seen this full Riddle roster. In week 1, they had a couple of subs in, so this is them playing now at max capacity, apparently. Obviously, we are only on week 2, so there's a lot of things to be finding out. The durability patch might change things up, and from the conversations I've been having behind the scenes, it sounds a little bit like some people are still trying to learn and figure out what actually works and what doesn't. But it feels to me like a few teams do seem to have a pretty good read on the meta. It's interesting to see slightly different things coming out from teams here and there. I love this. This is one of the things I like about when you get a big patch like this, is just how much like adaptation and learning you do with the players while you watch them play on it.
Absolutely, and I think this is what we talked about in a previous interview as well, that like we're trying a lot of things. I think Taxo was talking about it. He's like, I don't know exactly how this patch is going to play out, but we're trying out a lot of things and we'll come back strong in a couple of weeks' time. So it's not a matter of, oh, we'll play this, the official games, and we're going to learn what's going on. No, because these guys are screaming different ERLs who might have a different read in meta, different scream bubbles that will show them different things and different ways to play the game. So we're going to have to keep this in our heads.
Might just be dead here. He's able to dodge on the auto, but he's trying to jump out, and that is the shutdown for Dan with the Prey Seeker. Cries, sets it up.
That was a little bit of a kill secure. Yeah, that was a little bit of a kill secure. All the work goes to Cries, running down Jaxplank onto that Aurelia, knowing that the ultimate is not up for Jaxplank, neither is they flash. Cries actually managed to run down Jaxplank and get a kill back for himself. I lied, Dan actually yoinked that one, I just remembered, but Dan yoinking that kill away and securing it means that Prowler's Claw is now activated onto Rek'Sai, making it a very, very dangerous champion if you get anywhere near her.
I do worry that XL aren't being that proactive in the bot side at the moment. Kevo, yes, down in farm again, but it's not significant enough to be a problem for the side of Riddle. They expected to be down some farm in this lane, and they're doing okay. They're chilling out.
We expected them to be dead.
Yes, we did. And, you know, you've got Venzer on this Tristana, so you want to find the kills, and then you want to use Tristana's, you know, biggest part of her kit, her ability to bust towers. But it feels like they haven't been able to achieve too much, and finally now, XL rotate people over towards this side. They've got the Rift Herald, and they are going to be able to get a bunch of plates, if not the tower here, because they do have the bomb from Venzer. And Riddle just have to give this up. They've teleported back to top side. They don't have the tools.
This is the most important thing that you can do when you want to slow down an AD carry from actually farming. You cannot have Kevo now playing towards the bot side of the map because a Rel could be around, because a Rek'Sai could be around, because you have Gangplank ult, because you have Vex ult. He can get engaged from so many different angles and places from the bot quadrant of the jungle that Kevo is probably gonna have to migrate to mid lane.
Yep.
Which means it's a much easier lane to actually set up ganks for when you have the Vex, again, when you have the Gangplank, when you have the Rel. So that was the point, that was the play right here. Get the Rift Herald, open the bot side of the map. You see Kevo backing right now, and most likely have to send him towards that mid lane.
You're seeing Vladdy actually trying to go for the all-in. MNS able to dodge away on everything and just wins the trade super hard. Vladdy hasn't really been able to punish MNS's flash, who's just about to come up, and it's feeling pretty rough. They're rotating now Kevo and Nash into this lane to try and just, you know, first of all, stem the bleeding with Vladdy, but also just because they can't go bot lane, like you were saying, Trouble. So, gonna be a pretty rough one for Vladdy now, who has to go into either top or bot. And I'm not sure if Jaxplank really wants to be towerless.
And look at that.
It looks like he might have to, because Cries is down there.
Yeah, and look at that. JDXL are playing around Venzer. They want to make sure that this Tristana that got an influx of gold in the pocket stays actually really healthy, has a bunch of vision, doesn't get dived. Jaxplank really has to consider respecting that, because it could be a dive very quickly. Lulu's there.
Looking for the stun, not able to get it. Nash comes in with a Wild Growth, trying to keep Jaxplank alive. The Vanguard's edge is there. FGG slowed down. Tower shot after tower shot. And Nash secures the kill. Tower stands, and Jaxplank just about holds on to that with his team. Does sacrifice their life, though.
That was sort of worth it for XL, because you lose a support for a top laner. That means that Jaxplank for 14 seconds doesn't get any farm, doesn't get any experience, doesn't get to extend any sort of leads on the top side of the map, whilst the kill goes over to your support, which is not the most important things of them all. And again, Jaxplank right here, he needs to respect the fact that JDXL are just playing towards the top side of the map, and he knew that. He hadn't seen them for so long. MNS is also on the flank on the other side of the map, so if anyone tried to get away, MNS could snipe them with the ultimate. And yes, Riddle read the play, but they read it a little bit too late.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, a little bit too slow on the punch there, but now that does mean that XL are extending this gold lead little by little. No more plates for them to get, so they do need to either, you know, just get better wave management or turn that into towers to be able to get that. And remember, at the end of today, XL could be
the
the
swap
only
light.
team who are in first place, and it looks like Dan and Cry is looking to see if they can set up for that. Jaxplank able to dodge away on a lot of that. Does have to be careful thanks to the barrels, but is able to hold on. Jaxplank definitely now playing the weaker side, considering he had such a good start to this game.
Yeah, just a little bit of miscommunication right there from the side of XL. Cries and Dan didn't necessarily communicate how they wanted to play out the dive or if they wanted to play out the dive. Dan was further away. Cries really wanted it, so it looked a little bit disjointed right there. If we're looking towards the top side of the map, now Riddle know how far they can push on the map. If you look at the top side, it's all lit up in blue. They have permanent vision towards the top side. That means Kevo is going to be able to stay very safe towards the top side together with Nash, and also Kevo is having the flash and exhaust both up and available for him, whilst FTG cannot pull out one of these long distance engages because he's missing his own flash.
It looks like Stefan's actually in the area. If you can find a good bowling ball,
Good lane gank.
could actually be able to pull this off if you land it onto Venzer. But Venzer does have the cleanse, does have the flash, so also has the tools to be able to survive, but potentially burning them could be a big thing here. Dan, though, also in the area. Nash looking to spot them out, and this might just be that go button for them. Kevo needs to hold this flash really well. The Magnet Storm's not going to quite connect as he's able to jump away for the moment. Stefan coming in with a lilting lullaby to multiple members, and the polymorph comes down. FGG going so low. Kevo able to find himself one. MNES misses out on the ultimate, and just like that, Riddle find their opportunity. The face seal by Vladdy, not going to hit because Dan flashes away to safety. Riddle happy with one onto their AD
And
carry.
Stefan yet again reads the play. The veteran in Riddle coming in clutch, knowing that Dan is going to go towards the top side of the map, sees MNS moving as well. He's 100% sure they're going to try to pull in a dive onto Kevo and Nash. Remember, Kevo and Nash had almost all of their summoners up and available. FGG not having the flash out that was so crucial because his combo missed everyone. They were all able to sidestep that, meaning that one of their very crucial key ultimates doesn't hit, so XL could not pull out that gank towards the top side of the map. Really well played from the side of Riddle. I think this lineup is looking very promising coming into the NLC.
There's definitely a good air about this Riddle, but Vladdy at the moment, probably not the smartest pick. Blind picking the Yone and just getting counter-picked by the Vex has somewhat caused him a pretty rough lane of it. Anyway, Dan able to pick up this Dragon here for the side of JDXL. They're pretty happy able to pick that one up. And it looks like Riddle now looking for an answer on the other side. They are going to look to start up this Rift Herald. Have been spotted out by FGG. Venzer also in the area. So there is the potential for a potential turnaround here from the side of Riddle. But it looks like they're just going to blast cone away, be happy to give this up, and just chill out for the moment.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't think this Rift Herald would necessarily have too much impact in the game because the mid lane tower has not been touched, which means that Riddle cannot just approach mid lane tower and take it when there's so much wave clear with Gangplank, Vex, and Tristana. So I'd really like to see where this Rift Herald is actually going to be used, because there's no objective you're going to use it for. 4 minutes and 20 until the next Dragon. So yeah, there was time investment towards that Rift Herald. Nothing lost from the side of Riddle apart from a couple of minutes towards the top side of the map. So let's see if actually the time investment was worth it towards the top side.
Jaxplank able to
Oh, they actually lost
nice
a
shove.
tower.
Venzer able to take the tower because Riddle took the Rift Herald and just reset.
So far,
Accepted it was going to go down.
time investment, not worth it. You've lost a bunch of experience, a bunch of gold, a bunch of minions that died on the top side of the map. MNS is looking at the Jaxplank. He has the fear.
He's going to get caught out. They have the ultimate as well. They're going to chain it away. He's able to jump out with the Vanguard's edge, but the fear is just too oppressive. Way too much CC for Jaxplank, and he is just picked off for the 3rd time this game.
You've lost a tower, you've lost experience, you've lost gold, you've lost a top laner, which actually donated money over to MNS. So far, that commitment for the Rift Herald has gone pretty south for Riddle. Unless they find out a way to open up mid lane with it, I do not see it being worth.
MNS's ultimate is now back on cooldown, but it looks like JDXL actually taking multiple people over. Dan's going to come in. He looks for Nash. Nash caught out by the Prowler's Claw. Nash has nothing. He flashes over the wall to safety, able to survive for now. Meanwhile, Venzer quite happy just to take the mid lane. This Yone just isn't achieving anything for Riddle, and it is a sore spot for the team.
Yeah, and I think it was a question mark when you draft a team that usually wants to create space around your Kog'Maw. You know, even Jaxplank or that Aurelia can put down the ultimate in front of the Kog'Maw. Whoever dives in is within the walls of the ultimate, so you can actually engage onto them in short range. But I feel like Vladdy's Yone does not make sense for me here, because everybody from XL wants to be engaging into Riddle, whilst Yone is more of a I'll dive deep into your team type of champion, using the Shadow, using the ultimate to overreach and kill someone off. So far, I agree with you. I have not necessarily seen this Yone work. He's 1,500 gold down. He's about 40 CS down as well. 1 level down to the Vex. So far, it hasn't paid off, but we've all seen what a Yone with 2 or 3 items can actually do when they scale later onto the game. And remember what I said, XL wants to be diving into your face. Yone loves that because she's a melee champion.
Yeah, I've seen Kevo opt for the Hurricane over the Blade of the Ruined King. Obviously, it gives you a little bit more on hit because you have that passive crit and it gets translated instead of the crit. So there has that to work with. And there's not actually that many, like, quote-unquote tankier members, so the health percent from Blade of the Ruined King, maybe not quite as important here, so probably quite happy just to go for that Hurricane. Everybody's going to be quite grouped up in fights anyway, so if Kevo is untouched, that Hurricane actually might pay off quite effectively here, as Vladdy going to eat a barrel, going to lose a whole lot of health here, and Cries, with that Maw and Triforce, just absolutely mincing through health bars.
So the difference right here between this Riddle's Kog'Maw and Singularity's Kog'Maw is the fact that this Kog'Maw, as you mentioned, has reached already 2 items, which means that even if you wish to stop Soul Point, not necessarily Soul, you can do it in the next Dragon. Jaxplank and Stefan are going to put down the Rift Herald, but there's a surprise in this bush. They know, obviously, because the Rift Herald was just popped, so they know that Stefan is around, but all of these hurt that you're going to be putting down onto Jaxplank will send him back. I don't think this Rift Herald will reach the tower. It will.
Oh, is it going to get the charge in time? It is. Tower survives, though. How much health? Don't give us it yet. How much health?
I'll say 8.
Quick, Observer, give us the health on the tower.
8 health. Wait.
Can we see it?
You can say 2. You can say 2.
I'm going to go 11. 11 HP.
In before. Wait.
Here we go.
No.
Give it to us.
No.
Don't tease me like that.
No.
You can't do that.
It's not working. It's not working. Maybe our producer can tell us in our ear how much HP that tower was on.
I'll get the producers to let us know, and then I'll see if our game was correct.
All right, so 24 seconds before Soul Point for JDXL. They've set up their vision, they've set up their tunnels, they've set up the networking towards the bot quadrant of Stefan's jungle. And right now, if Jaxplank, overextends right there, they can also make it a 4v5. Mind you, this is a Kog'Maw, Lulu, Lilia, Yone on the top side of the map. If you commit too hard to that dragon, they can make the Baron disappear like a magic trick.
We were both wrong. It was 3 HP.
Oh,
That
come
tower
on.
had 3 HP. It like
I was closest, so I win.
Over. You were closest, yes, so you do win. Well done, Trouble.
Thank you so much. Biggest achievement of the day. Right, talking about
Not having
achievements.
a reunion with me, is that not the biggest achievement of the day?
That is the biggest goal of my life, Ukraine.
A reunion with
Cast
me.
alongside you. Oh, M&S?
I think Vladdy's goal is just to survive this, but he is so omega doomed. Although he flashes out, Mness flashes forward and reaches in.
No.
Takes the kill.
Vladdy made one of the biggest mistakes you can do versus Vex because not a lot of people think about it. But when you flash away, it counts as a dash. It counts as a flash. So it gives that passive doom and gloom back onto the Vex, and she can yoink away her passive and deal even more damage. Had he not flashed away and just walked, maybe his team would be there just in time. You'll see he will connect the ult and he will fear Yone halfway through that ultimate. Very, very, very well played. There you go. If you had walked towards the Lulu, I think it would have been a case of maybe the Lulu shielding you and saving you right there. But just because you flashed, gave the passive over to MNS. Again, we know MNS to be extremely insane when it comes down to mechanical play, and cancelling Vladdy right there back to back and also taking his life after the flash was really beautiful to watch.
MNS does get hit by the bowling ball there from Stefan. I feel like this might just become the Nash show, if I'm going to be honest with you. Tower does go down for Jaxplank in the bottom lane, working towards potentially that 3rd item there for Kevo. And actually looks like Jaxplank was maybe feeling the 1v1
I think Cries will feel
He's
it
got
here.
a lot of damage, actually. Hit him with the barrel. The cannon barrage comes down. The Maw has been popped, and this barrel might end Jaxplank. He's down. Cries gets the outplay.
Every single time Cries has engaged Jaxplank, it's been when Jaxplank has no flash, and no ultimate to defend himself. So very, very well played. I think Cryz had a blunder earlier on the top side, very early when he gave the first blood away to Jaxplank, but he has been able to actually recover from that 10 CS ahead, managing to get kills back-to-back onto his own. Really, really well played, of course, by Cryz. He knows also that Jaxplank does not have his stun available because he just used it onto his wave. He will lead that barrel for the slow, and then he's just sitting right there in the cannon barrage, dying slowly and ka-ching.
Absolutely beautiful play there from Cryz as Dan knows that this blue buff's happening. Stefan spotted out. MNES is going to get hit by the bowling ball.
Oh, he's so slowed.
Laddie's in the area as well. Big old slow, and Stefan able to take the blue buff for himself. We've got the Titanic Hydra now finished up into cover, so there's a lot of splash damage coming out from this Kog'Maw. And there's always that in the back of your mind, that 10 CS per minute Kog'Maw is slowly ramping up little by little, but this Baron might be enough just to slow them down. It's relatively slow because it's just Dan and Cryz. But at the same time, that plays into JDXL because Riddle go, nah, they're not doing Baron. We can see where they all are. They're now collapsing in on it.
They can't.
And Riddle's too slow.
They can't. That's the thing. They need to pull in Jaxplank's Aurelia in with a teleport. Lilia cannot walk in. They do not have a tanky member that can actually face check the composition of JDXL. So very clever placement of the vision towards the top quadrant of Stefan's jungle. They took complete control of the top side of the map, and JDXL is like, if you want to see if that Baron's going down, you're going to have to face check us. I think it was very clever from Riddle out there to actually not face check and try to play with their waves.
Well, look at this. There we go. Everybody's throwing in. FGG in the area. They're going to knock up onto Nash. Nash flashes away. Kevin does have a fair amount of damage to work with, and he's doing it, but it's not going to stick as Nash chunked out. Dan, less so, but still slightly chunked out. Baron, though, in the pocket of JDXL, so Dan can reset quicker. Nash needs to reset, but just is going to go for the honey fruit for now. They need to keep Kevo alive. Venzer, 2 levels over Kevo right now. He might not have had the kill lane execution, but he is still ahead.
I love that you said that because I feel like this is a very, very low kill game considering the composition that JDXL have drafted for themselves with the Rek'Sais, the Vexes, the Tristanas, the Rels, wanting to go all in, create a big explosion, but right here, they're playing it very slow and calculated because they know they have the upper hand. 2 minutes remaining off that Baron, 1 minute until they're sold. That means they can create a lot of pressure on the side lanes with the Baron up minions. Riddle are going to have to reply to them. Vladdy doesn't even have teleport to be on a side lane, so he's most likely have to go either mid and group up with his team and share experience and gold, or we'll either have to go towards the bot side of the map where Cryz is actually a monster right now onto this Gangplank.
The worry you do have, and I said it before and I said it again, Lulu Cog. You still have a Lulu Cog. There is always that area where if JDXL don't pick the pace up, they will be in a pretty scary position. They've got the gold lead, they've got the pressure on the map at the moment, but the longer this game goes, the more that timer ticks away for Kevo.
And look at the setup yet again. JDXL wants to go for Baron. Keeps complete control of the top side of the map. JDXL wants to go for the Dragon, keeps control of the bot side of the map. MNS on the side right there. They could kill Jaxplank right here and right now. Cryz is taking Inhibitor while Riddle are lost and they don't know if they want to push mid or if they want to go for the Dragon execution because they have no vision and none of them can actually face check.
Well, the inhibit is going to go down, but look at the flank actually through the jungle. MNES in that red side, looking to try and get in. Has been spotted out. Venzer jumps into Stefan. They're looking for the face shield, able to find it. There they go, jumping in onto Nash already. He has to ult himself. Kevo untouched though, looking to get the damage off as MNES jumps in once again. Kevo jumping away as here comes Cryz. MNES is coming in. The barrels are going to be pretty big, but not big enough. Unable to chain them as Jaxplank is low. They're looking to try and kill him slowly, but surely he's able to survive. But this should just be the Dragon over to the side of JDXL. Riddle are way too chunked.
Yeah, a lot of bars blinking right here on the side of Riddle. That means JDXL are going to get a very crucial Drake, and this is the Ocean Dragon. This is so important because as you can see, the fight so far have been going a little bit back and forth. Yes, XL commit, but they don't overcommit, which means they can play the back and forth with the Tristana and the Vex, which means that Ocean Soul is going to come in handy really, really well for them. Riddle, on the other hand, they're playing extremely passively right now. Yes, we're waiting for the combo to come online, but when is it going to come online? Baron is gone, Ocean Soul is gone, and right here, MNS snipes the back line. Nash doesn't even get to ult or heal himself, and then he also reapplies the ultimate onto Kevo. So MNS pretty much did exactly the job he needed
what
to
an
do
ult
right
there,
here.
Venzer.
Snipes the backline, takes out the support of Kevo, and then tags Kevo himself, which means that Kevo has to respect and not overcommit. Again, really, really well played by the XL mid laner.
Oh, they're onto him. They've got the wild growth. Kevo is in so much trouble. He's been caught out, but they're coming in for the rest. Kevo
kill him.
safe for the moment. Kevo able to survive, and FGG is going to go down. Kevo able to find the kill. Riddle finally make that combo work, but Kevo, he is so heavily chunked for the moment. They're looking for the lilting lullaby onto him. They're going to look for the stuns as well. They're going to continue the chase. There's the fate seal. Kevo still untouched for the moment, but MNES coming in on the flank, not going to be able to find it. As Dan has to use the stopwatch. He has no one around him, and Riddle don't really have the wave to be able to do more. Meanwhile, in the top side of the map, Cries will take a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, but that was a huge overextension by JDXL, and they keep doing this. There has been times on Summoner's Rift where XL are actually overcommitting to the play. Now Dan here is trying to stop the back, so look at that huge wave pushing that bot Nexus tower while Cries is trying to put pressure on the tops of the map. But that has been huge. I think Kevo received 2 kills in this fight. Titanic Hydra complete. He's going to lose his 4th item. Kevo is going to be hurting so much. Level 14. At some point, JDXL are going to overreach again. And if this Lulu is alive to support the Kog'Maw, Kevo is going to hurt them a lot.
Kevo is now looking pretty scary, but XL still have a very, very strong Cries on the GP. You still got the Tristana, who's ahead as well. It's not like it's doomed, but that was definitely a mistake they didn't want to be making.
Okay, so MNS sees his opportunity right there, but they don't see that Nash is around. Guardian is going to be popped, Ultimate is going to be popped, Heal is going to be popped, Flash is going to be popped from Kevo. They have everything in their toolkit to stop Kevo from dying. But now saying that, that toolkit is now down. There is no more Flash onto Kevo. There is no more heal onto this Lulu. Exhaust maybe is about to come back up. So XL right now have a window where they can catch this Kog'Maw off guard.
I also didn't realize Vladdy got a shutdown. So you were talking about, you know, when those 2 items come in for the Yone, he comes online, Infinity Edge and an Immortal Shield Bow onto Vladdy. Vladdy in a better spot than they were previously. Teleport not available for Jaxplank, but is available for Cries. But there is a teleport onto Vladdy, so he's just going to join up in the mid lane. Titanic Hydra onto this Kog'Maw does mean these towers do go down so quickly. But the vision is just complete darkness.
No flash on Kevo, no flash on Vladdy, no flash on Stefan. They overcommit. FGG.
Oh. Good ult onto MNES. MNES has been caught out for the moment. Kevo's going to continue the chase forward. They're looking for the fear onto him, but MNES will lose his life. The wild growth makes sure that Kevo's able to do it. The Baron has been secured for the moment. Jaxplank, very low HP. XL trying to look to see if they can recover this somewhat. The wave is going to get cleared out, and Riddle just peeling backwards. Vladdy tries to jump forward onto FGG. Not going to be able to do too much. Just a little bit of chip damage here and there. Venzer, full HP though, and Riddle recognizing that, decide they need to step away. Nash is too squishy, too weak.
Very well played right there from Vladdy to see MNS on the side. If MNS got a good impact with the ultimate right there in the backline, 3-0 and 1 onto Kevo with no flash, it could have been huge if he connected that ultimate. So very good catch right there from Vladdy. Takes the Baron buff away from MNS as well. And JDXL looked a little bit caught off guard because they had all of the vision they wanted right there. Yes, they do take the Baron, but right now, if you look at the inventory of Kevo, 3 items completed, stopwatch in there as well. How do you kill this Kog'Maw?
Him and Vladdy actually both just bought a stopwatch as well off that, so they are both feeling very comfortable right now. But we'll have a look at this again. XL did at least get the Baron though, so they lost their mid, but they gained the Baron.
Yeah, and MNS is on the side right there, but that was an instantaneous reaction from Vladdy. Kevo also sprints towards MNS as well. They know that if they take this threat out that dives into the backline, it would be very easy to maybe play the back and the forth, even with the 4 remaining members of XL, because everyone else from the side of Riddle was pretty healthy and could continue playing that 5 versus 4. So I'd like to see what XL can actually do to break the game right now, because there is a bunch of wave play now with that Kog'Maw, and even though XL are the ones with the Baron, they just cannot push.
Yeah, they are struggling somewhat. MNES seeing if you can line up a good angle. Same here for FGG, but it's so hard, like you said, with that stopwatch onto Kevo to actually catch him. You land FGG jumping in, you land that ultimate from the Vex. He just presses stopwatch and Nash ults him the moment it wears off. Cries on the flank here with that GP level 18, almost full build. Jaxplank's gonna lose a lot of health here as another barrel doesn't quite connect, but is able to chunk Jaxplank out, does use all his barrels to do so.
I just want to say that twice in a row right now, we have seen a Kog'Maw team fall behind almost 10,000 gold and still be relevant in the game. You give Kog'Maw one of his big team fights, the team instantly comes back into play. 20 seconds until Elder. 20 seconds until Elder, though, and MNS's ultimate is down.
Yeah, he just landed onto Kevo, but doesn't actually follow it because it was just an optimistic ult. Nash, a little bit chunked out there for the moment, but you do have to worry about Christ potentially just ending the game through the bot side. He's forced the wave in. Jaxplank now has his teleport, so he can go clear the wave. He can then teleport back in. It looks like these two might go toe-to-toe here. Kevo, he's actually frontlining for the team here, chasing forward little by little. Jaxplank able to deal with the wave in the bot side, and he can teleport in at a moment's notice, but Christ is coming on the flank.
Oh, there he is.
His barrels recharged up, and the teleports are coming in. Christ, FTG! FTG is just running amok right now! Seven has to flash away for the moment, and Kevo is free firing away. FTG is taking a lot of damage on the run, but Dan is able to shut him down. That is the end of Kevo. This should just be the end of the fight, and it's all on Stefan to save the day. But Dan is ripping through Riddle members left, right, and center, going to force the resurrection out, and MNS is chasing onto Vladdy. Vladdy looks at the turnaround, finds him with a quick knock-up. Stefan trying to heal up for the moment with that Omnivamp for himself, but he can't do much as the Dragon is getting started by Cries. In comes the bowling ball, not going to connect at all. Vladdy's going back to base. He's got the teleport available. He can join in if he needs to. Well, he will be able to any moment now. He's waiting for a good opportunity, but it looks like this Dragon should just go over to the side of JDXL. XL with such a good ultimate from FGG.
Ooh, that was FGG's Rel that we've been looking to see this entire freaking game, and he delivers. Keep your eyes onto this Rel. FTG is in no vision. Dan is right behind him, and 4 members of Riddle are waiting in this boost. Boom! 4 members ultimate right there, but again, Vladdy with an insane dive in the backline takes out Venzer, so that is a 1-for-1 traded right there. Then Dan will find the key member, Kevo, in the backline of Riddle, and all in all, even though Excel are 10,000 gold ahead, that was a very, very, very close fight.
Probably going to be less close now that they've got the Elder. That's probably going to be my input on that, unfortunately.
You know what? 10,000 gold deficit is their comfort zone, Hipbrain.
Yeah, I mean, Kevo's now got the Immortal Shield Bow, so a lot of health in his inventory just from the passive health you get from Shield Bow. Obviously the shielding as well, the Lulu,
Lifesteal,
Titanic Hydra, the Lifesteal. Kevo level 16 as well, 4 items on Kog'Maw. If you are going to be the carry, this now is your only opportunity for Kevo. He's holding it out, and they are waiting out this Elder. They haven't got any downed inhibitors at the moment. They have an open inhibitor bot lane, but it's not down, so they don't have to worry about too much about the wave management. Baron is coming up in a minute's time, though, and I think that's the next kind of deciding moment of this game.
I was about to say the same. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I do not think XL can actually win with just the Elder here. They cannot dive. It's very difficult, especially with the Lulu and how tanky you mentioned that this Kog'Maw is. And if they overreach, they can instantly get punished. And then Riddle can just go and take the Baron, just push in and completely end the game, right?
I mean, that tower just evaporated. Venzer did so much work to it, and Venzer's got Flash, he's got Cleanse, so you can't catch him out with a lilting Lullaby. Christ is doing 1,500 damage crits with the barrels. And this has to be a miracle save here from the side of Riddle. As 1 inhibitor will drop down. There is only 1 inhibitor tower standing. 3 towers for the side of Riddle remaining in this game, as Vladdy needs to find the ult of the century on this Yone. Tower number 3 will go down. All of the inhibitors open, 2 of the inhibitors down, and it looks like XL are looking to play this game by the book. They are looking to close out into this final tower. Riddle have to engage. If they lose this tower, they lose the game.
At this point, you can't, because the Elder Dragon is still active on the members of XL. If you would fight, you would have to fight underneath one of your towers, and all of your outer towers, in the base, are gone. You only have Nexus towers remaining. 3 inhibitors are going to go down. Double super minions. Incoming.
For it potentially. Venzer jumps away. Elder still ticking away for a little bit longer. The cannon barrage comes onto Jaxplank. He has to throw the Vanguard's edge out for the slow. Nash has been caught by MNS. Kevin needs to get away from him. They're going to go for the heal. Inhibitor's going to drop, and just like that, they're able to hold on. It's still alive for a little bit longer. Kevo's getting opened up onto by Venzer, but Kevo's got the lifesteal. He's got the Lulu. Stefan chunked out, though, by Cries with a barrel, and the waves are starting to push against them in favor of JDXL. It turns out they didn't even need Baron Nashor to crack this base wide open. Riddle running out of options, running out of time in this game.
Yeah, I think Riddle were a little bit lost right there. If you were gonna make a last stand underneath your towers, you need towers. They lost all the remaining inhibitor towers that they had, and now the only thing that they have in their base is Nexus towers. But the problem is, there's gonna be double super minions coming from everywhere, and NXL are literally beelining that Baron to buff up all these double super minions that are going to be in Riddle's base. And I think this is going to be the last try for Riddle to try and maybe get this game back.
Last chance to lose. Nash is dead. Airborne onto Kevo, and here's out. Double kill for Venzer. They're chasing for more. Venzer's got the resets. Vladi has to use the stopwatch for the moment, as now they turn it back around. It's a double. It's not a double. Kryze takes it away. It's only the double for Venzer. And there's two members, Jaxplank and Stefan, with one tower. 1.5 towers, I'll give them that. Can they make it happen? GA, Stefan pops the pot to keep himself a little bit more. Has to get himself a 3-man stun, but the barrels are just going to be too scary. The fears are going to be too oppressive, and Jaxplank has to throw down the Vanguard's edge. He's missing out, and Venzer will be able to pop his GA. Tower number 1 will go down. Tower number 2, quick to follow. 40 minutes pretty much on the clock, and this will be XL going 3-0.
What a clean performance coming in again from that mid-jungle duo from XL. Eminence 5-1 on the Vex. We have yet to see him on the Vex. We now know that he's terrified on that champion as well.
Yeah.
Dan, completely undying. Kryze, given first blood, instantly recovering, solo killing his opponent Lena. FDG with insane engage that pretty much, I think, won them the game at that point. And Venzer taking every single outer tower with that Tristana. I think this XL is sort of a little bit of an image of the XL coming in from spring, that they were taking everything by storm, and right now they're sitting at the top of the standings. The only ones that can reach them is Bifrost later on.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Bifrost actually can tie up to them. I think FGG, game-winning engages, but for me, the MVP really was Kryze on that GP. He got heavily focused early, and he still looked like one of the biggest carries in that game. We are going to throw it over to the lads on the desk, though, to talk a little bit more about that game. So over to you, Akram.
What a game it was. We gotta be honest, it was a lovely one. 40 minutes long. It took one mistake in the late game to wrap it up for JDXL. And I gotta say, shame on you for saying that this batch is bad. 40 minutes of exciting gameplay.
No. I might have been like venting my frustration on enchanters. This game was good. This game was great. You're still out an enchanters, mister.
Also, before we move on to anything on the desk, I want to tell you back at home, hit us with hashtag NLC at home at Twitter. Tell us and show us how you're watching these games, how you enjoying the games. Who are you viewing with? I mean, if you're viewing it with your parents, with your dog, I don't care. Just show us the pictures, and we'll put it up on broadcast for everyone to know, the viewers from NLC. Let's get to know you, and you get to know us. But let's get to know this game, Jamada. What happened? What was crucial in this game?
On that, give us dog pictures. We love dogs. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think as far as from the Riddle POV, I'll at least try and give that first. I feel like we kind of set the record relatively straight, right? I think it was kind of a simple of get your solo laners ahead, or they're kind of just going to be there, in many cases, either relying on miracle flanks or for Stefan to set them up. And they effectively had to kind of work as a bridge for Kevo to get to that point where we saw him in that game kind of be that, okay, is Kevo alive? Great, we have a chance of winning a team fight. Is he dead? Yeah, we're probably losing this team fight. And
Actually,
that's how it kind of went.
If I can dig in a little more to that, because we saw Cogmore and Wyatt strong on this patch. So a lot of that is because the W's percent HP. To get a little bit nerdsy on the maths, though, one big change which happened to AD carry itemization was to Immortal Shield Bow. It was taken away from a bit of the AD, a bit more of the offensive stats. Actually, a bit away from the shielding as well. But one thing which did get buffed up is when you're on that Mythic passive, when you build up a legendary item, you get more HP. Now, if you get to 4 items, one of them being a Shield Bow and the other one's being a Titanic Hydra, which scales off your max HP, you get to that point and you just bot people when you've got these Titanic Hydra procs going everywhere. That's what we saw late game. If Kagvo was alive, this absolute megazord of items, the Meta Golem, that was what we used to call it back in the older seasons of League of Legends, when you have all of the best items just stacked on one champion. Cogmore became so hard to deal with. That's what made it close. But even with that, they were so far behind in gold. And I think that is a testament to how good JDXL were at like marshalling their troops, organizing their ability to play around this early game, and getting themselves ahead. So that Cogmore never got to the point where it was an even footing. It was always fighting from behind.
Yeah.
I love that we're talking about AD carries because we have both AD carries for the interview. Let's kick it off with Venzer from JDXL. There you go.
He's chilling.
Chilling? You're seriously
No,
chilling right
he's
now?
not chilling.
Hello,
He was
is the
asleep.
game over?
Oh, you were asleep with the cat on the background as well. You're feeling good on this game, aren't you?
I'm not sure if I'm feeling good, but it was a game for sure. It took a bit longer than it should have.
It was a game for sure. Okay, you're coming in hot with an undefeated team so far for JDXL. Are you enjoying this team so far? Is dealing with Torok actually achievable?
I mean, yeah, dealing with Torok is achievable. It is fun.
is.
Sometimes stuff happens that. I mean, it's not Torok's fault. This game should have ended a lot faster.
Okay, so talk to me about that because you come in with the Tristana, the press the attack. Is this like a good answer towards the Kog'Maw with the Kraken Slayer as well? Or is this the flavor of the month?
I mean, not really. It was just like a decent blind pick, I think, in this game. Like they picked into us and they went Kog Lulu. So I mean, I think Tristana was fine this game. Just if this was old patch, this would have been a lot better.
Can you talk to me about the Lulu as an AD carry? We're getting a lot of Lulus nowadays. Can you talk to me about what you think? I don't care if you think like it's good or not. Tell me your opinion about the Lulu coming back.
This champion is broken. It's really broken.
I'm telling you, chances, man.
I don't like Lulu meta. It gets really boring and it is way too strong.
Tell me, what will be your opinion if Torok asks you to play Kog'Maw alongside with Lulu?
I mean, I would be happy.
Oh, okay. So if the enemy pulls the Lulu card on you, you're unhappy, but if you're the one taking the Lulu card, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Seems good.
Lulu Cog just has the inherent advantage most of the time. If this was old patch, they probably would just get dove on every 3 waves, but this patch, it's just so hard to dive, so...
Tell me, was the team nervous going into this game? Because Dusty they're looking hot on the other side. Riddle are looking hot right now.
Who? I didn't hear the sound quality.
Were you nervous jumping into this game?
No, why would I be?
Okay, confidence, yes sir.
This is why I like Venzer. I've known
This
Venzer
is why
for
you
a while.
like him.
Even when we had Venzer, how many years ago was it now? 2 or 3 years ago he was on XL. Obviously you're back here, same level of confidence, and I mean, kind of showed in the game as well.
Okay, last question for you, and I want to feed myself of that confidence. I would say, how long will JDXL remain undefeated this split? And versus who are you going to lose?
How many games is a split?
Yeah, but how long do you reckon?
18
18
games.
games.
18 games.
Yeah, so 18 games plus how many for playoffs? I think that's how long we're going undefeated.
If you min-max it, technically 6.
Yeah. So you don't think you're going to lose to anyone?
No, I mean...
Okay, so when you lose, I want you on the interview, okay?
I can't predict that, can I?
Nah, thank you so much, Venzer, and I love the confidence from the team. I mean, it feels good that you're feeling back at home. So best of luck throughout the remaining of the split. And if you go undefeated, I won't talk to you, apparently. So thank you so much.
If we go undefeated, I want a specialized trophy, okay? Since you think I won't do it.
I will get to you. Yeah, okay. If you lose, I want an interview with you specifically. I don't care who's scheduled for the interview.
If we could have like a really dramatic apology video for losing during this split, that'd be great.
Tell me what you want me to
You can
wear.
do it the other way around. If they don't lose, you can do like a really dramatic apology.
Yes, I'll do an apology if you don't lose a single game. Is that a deal?
All right, deal.
It's a deal. Thank you so much for the interview. I'll see you soon.
See you.
Okay, so I think they're kind of confident right now.
Little bit, yeah.
A little.
I think we got that coming across. I mean, I think it was fairly certain that, I did like a lot of what they brought out here. I think that, Kryze is continuing to be probably the best top player in our league at this point. I think that in spring, I think that we looked at, your Shikaris, we looked at your Jaegers. I think that Kryze was excellent in spring. I think coming into this split, you see how he played today. He just dumpstered when he actually got those options for those 1v1s. Played really, really well. Looking very much forward to how they continue on the rest of this undefeated split.
Undefeated split, yeah, no, like Nymera says, I think, honestly, Cry's had a pretty decent run of it last split anyway, but it feels like at least the start of this split, he has kicked it up another level. And I'm kind of excited to see if there is anybody else in the league at the moment, given his current form, who can actually challenge him.
I want to see him versus Chasey again.
Yeah, I want to see him against Chasey again. So I feel like Chasey so far has probably been the other best top laner in the league. So
can I take a moment, though, to talk about the savior, Dan?
Oh, yeah. That Rek'Sai was actually legit in late game, for sure.
Yeah.
He didn't die a single time as well.
And that's actually kind of the impressive part, because we kind of said in that draft we wanted to see Dan get into the lanes or get into the jungle of Stefan and interrupt, the sort of farming pattern of Lilia, so that she couldn't just kind of get these free full clears into being able to back up the lanes that need it. And unfortunately for Dan in that game, it felt like he was unable to do that for forces outside of his control, to be honest with you. But it's very hard to make a late game Rek'Sai look good. And in this game,
got onto the Cogmore
several times. And again, that was the only thing he had to do. As long as he got onto that Cogmore, knocked him up, made sure that he was available for the rest of the team to jump on. That was his role. He fulfilled it perfectly.
Now we can go on to the second interview. And I said it was the 80 carries, but apparently it's not, so let me do... I'm going to wing it on the interview with Jaxplank, the top laner coming in from Riddle. So I casted you for a long time, by the way, and I finally get to talk to you. So it's a pleasure. It's on the debut of the entire team. It was a so long game, and you had to play versus GP. How did you feel in the Champions Select as soon as they picked GP versus you?
I mean, I want to play something frontline, but I didn't really feel comfortable. So I went for the Irelia, but I think Sion was the best pick there.
And the jungler spent most of his early game on your lane. Why do you believe it didn't work out in the end?
I didn't really hear you.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
I didn't really hear you.
Oh, okay, you didn't got me. Okay. So your jungler spent a long time in the early game on the top side, but eventually it seemed like the Irelia fell off a little bit versus the GP. Where do you believe the match kind of got lost?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like we played really good early game on top side. We played really well around me, but I kind of choked a bit after some point. Like I died kind of solo to GP, and then it felt really bad. And GP is a really good champion to outscale the opponent, so...
I mean, you kind of know that champion now, like you kind of know how GP works. Tell me something. In this patch right now, in the way things are going, I would like you to tell me how you feeling as a top laner where the things are going right now.
I mean, this meta, I really like this because it's like a Gwen, GP, Jax meta. So Jax is good into Gwen, and GP is skill matchup into Gwen. So my mains are really fine.
Now, this was the easy question, everyone.
I got a new one. Don't worry. I got a stronger one right now for you to wrap up the interview. Okay. I was looking throughout the entire game, and the map, you guys were... Your control of the map, it kind of seemed dark. It really seemed dark for you guys. It seemed like your team didn't have a sustainable front line to go and try to get vision. And the game got decided by one pick. Because if that pick on the Baron didn't appear, nobody knows what the result would be. What was the call for your team to try and find vision, and why didn't it happen sooner? And why was the bot lane going for the vision in the late game?
I mean, it was so hard to check like the bushes because they had GP and Vex. So someone had to face check, and we kind of needed more time. I don't know. I had to base like in the last team fight where Lulu died. I had to base to get GA, and we got, I don't know, we got stuff, so it was hard.
One mistake, but it was a lovely game. It was really wonderful to watch the entire game, and best of luck for the new one, and best of luck for the entire composition of Riddle. I think this is only the first day, so thank you for meeting me and for the interview.
Thank you as well, guys. Thank you as well, guys. Good night.
I'll see you soon, man.
Bye-bye.
It's so good to finally get to talk with a player that I've been casting for so long.
And I think particularly in this game, it's really cool when you get these games which do come down to individual moments of like make or break. And we were sat there in the back room. You see the momentum meter. That's kind of our opinion on how the game was going.
Yeah.
I was just like, I kind of want to put this more towards Riddle. I really want to put it up because you can see the cog mode is getting to that breaking point, the critical mass, and then suddenly everything's gone. Just one mistake. I think that's the bonus of this kind of meta. As much as we get less crazy skirmishing in the early game because it's much harder to make that stuff work, and especially the dives as well, when it gets to these late game team fights, it is often agency into your individual carries that have to really stick the landing. And in this case, Kevin did so well for most of that game. It's just that one moment which obviously is going to be a big factor in how we remember this game.
Yeah, I think we're kind of, at least, this sample size of games we have today, almost, it feels like we've hopped in a bit of a time machine. We've gone backwards where it turns into these situations where it's, 2, maybe 3 if you're unlucky, or lucky, actually, mistakes that you make in a game, and that's it. Because
heavily punished.
you just get heavily punished. The early games are so much slower that it comes to a situation where you've got 2 people that you've managed to, or at most 2 people that you've managed to feed all of your resources into, and at that point, if they end up dying, game's done.
And it's looking better than Season 2, where we cheered for the wards being killed in World. So I gotta say, it's looking good right now, League of Legends. But I want to look into the standings and understand how they are right now. JDXL undefeated so far in first place. Bifrost throughout the rest of the day could tie with them. And Riddle 1-2. Even though I'm looking into the standings, I don't think it's fair for a lot of teams, but it's early in the split, so...
Yeah, hang on. We've had like 3 games tops per team. This is really not going to be the story overall. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. You can have your early overreactions if you want to, but we're really waiting to see how things settle down. And because we're going to have basically this 1 week as kind of the sore thumb really sticking out in this week 1, which is on a different patch when these teams were coming back from a shortened break if they were on EU Masters as well. Yep. There is going to be more question marks than potentially we'd normally see from this schedule of NLC.